You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Road Rants for Black and White Sports. Let's talk about Urban Meyer coming back to coaching. I know this is going to be a different video for this channel, but I find this interesting. Urban Meyer, even though I'm a Michigan fan, I don't give a shit. I like Urban Meyer as a coach. I always have. Very quickly, this is the new Defund the Athlete shirt. It's available in the merch store. Right now, promo code LeBron Sucks, LeBron SUX, will get you a quick 10% off. Defund the Athletes 3.0. Okay? Now, I saw this rumor. This is from Outkick, and immediately I became very intrigued. There's a couple of coaches. I'm going to tell you right now, I wish Nick Saban would have went back to the NFL about 6 or 7 years ago, because I feel like he would have had more success than he had the first time. I do, because I believe he would have commanded I understand he had already had a substantial amount of college success, but Nick Saban the last 6 or 8 years has turned into a different animal. He would walk into an NFL locker room and he would own it now. He's walking in as a legend. Now I think Nick is too old, okay? Probably too old to get to the NFL or go to the NFL. I don't know that he would want to put up with the drama. But I think if he'd have chose to come back maybe 6 years ago, I don't think it would have failed the second time around. Look, there are certain coaches I don't look at Nick Saban the same way I look at Steve Spurrier. I just don't, okay? Spurrier is almost a cartoon character besides being a head coach, okay? That's something that I also think affects Jim Harbaugh now. Jim Harbaugh is a hell of a football coach. I think Jim Harbaugh ultimately ends up back in the NFL. Where, I don't know, but don't sleep on Detroit. I can't imagine that Jim would come back there, but Detroit is interesting. Urban Meyer. Now, I like head coaches, particularly to feel like they can run an entire program, because when you're an NFL head coach, you are what? You are a CEO. You are a true CEO of that team. Okay, that's why Bill Belichick is so good. He's got his hands in everything successfully, okay? And he knows how to prioritize and move everything around. That's why I look at certain coaches. Doug Peterson with the Eagles, I'm sorry, it feels like Doug Peterson is in way over his head. It's become apparent to me the coach that won the Super Bowl with the Eagles was Frank Reich. Period. We're seeing that with the Colts. He is running a CEO type of program, and the Colts have got real success with Phillip Rivers. Okay? Now, let's talk about this real fast, and we'll talk a little bit more about places he could end up, because this is interesting. This is really interesting. According to Adam Schefter with ESPN, multiple NFL teams have reached out to Meyer to gauge his interest in moving to the next level. In fact, 2 teams reportedly want interviews. I know which 2 teams they are. I will tell you. Meyer has dismissed those requests. He has not dismissed those requests either, which is odd. He normally shuts that shit down pretty fast. Now, the 56-year-old former coach has been wildly successful, that's my word, on the college level, building 2 programs. And as we know, he won 2 national titles with the Florida Gators, won another one in Columbus and with the Buckeyes, and this is his record in college: 187, 30 and 32, an 854 winning percentage. Now, if you think Urban Meyer would not walk into an NFL locker room and own it, you're wrong. I promise you, number 1, the league is full of Buckeyes. Number 2, Urban Meyer ain't taking no shit from nobody. Urban Meyer very much has a CEO quality to him. He ran those college programs, the whole program. He will come in and run the NFL, whatever team he goes to. Those two teams that have reached out for interviews are the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can tell you right now, to me, Detroit makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, because I don't think Matthew Stafford will be there next year. Now, the Jacksonville Jaguars makes a ton of sense. He coached the Florida Gators. As of right now, as of this second, unless Jacksonville fucks around and wins another game, they're going to draft Trevor Lawrence. Okay? The best quarterback prospect to come out since Andrew Luck. One of the top 5 or 6 prospects to come out in the last 30 years. Okay? Now we're talking prospect prior to draft. But Trevor Lawrence looks like a can't-miss quarterback you're going to build around and end up being successful. Now, I know that some big-name coaches have already been linked to the Jets. Jim Harbaugh and Bill Cowher. Boomer Esiason floated Cowher out there, and he works with Cowher. Cowher only makes sense for one reason. His wife is a massive Jets fan. He's got the presence, and he lives up in that area. He could care less. He could deal with the media. I think Jim Harbaugh, and I love Jim, but he's almost become a cartoon character. I think at this point, Jim Harbaugh to the Jets would be a disaster in that media area, that pressure cooker. I just believe that. Okay. Now, Jim Harbaugh to the Lions, that's kind of interesting, but that's another conversation. I just don't think Urban fits in Detroit. I don't like it because I don't think Matthew Stafford stays there. Jacksonville. Urban to the Jets? No. I don't think Urban wants to put up with the media coverage up there. Even though he could command the room in sort of that Parcells-like way, I just don't think if he comes back, he's going to want to choose a media market like that. It would be Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence, and the other one would be Houston with Deshaun Watson, provided he's got a lot of say in personnel with both teams. I'm telling you, he's going to want to run the program for the most part. For the most part, okay? And that doesn't mean there shouldn't be a general manager, but he would run the program in the way that John Gruden has hooked up with Mike Mayock. And look, they've drafted some pretty good players in Oakland. They're not great at drafting defense, but the Oakland Raiders have hit or acquired some good offensive players out there. Okay? I think Urban is a better coach than John Gruden. I'm just going to keep it real. I like John Gruden. To me, Urban is one of these guys. He's a legend. As soon as he walks into a locker room, those players are going to turn around and be like, oh, shit. Urban Meyer just walked in this locker room. The attitudes are going to change. Urban oozes, I'm not taking no shit. Period. In a lot of ways, the same way Jimmy Johnson, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. If you think Jerry Jones hasn't made a call about this guy after this season that they have had, in some way or some form or fashion, you will never convince me he has not. And look, I think there's no way they should fire Mike McCarthy after 1 year. But if you think Jerry Jones hadn't reached out behind the scenes about Urban Meyer, because look, Jerry always wants his next Jimmy. He always wants his next Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. I understand he doesn't get along with those dudes, but initially he wants them. That's not going to happen either, I don't think. Okay, but Jacksonville, because of that University of Florida background and Trevor Lawrence, Don't sleep on Jacksonville getting Urban Meyer. If Shao Kahn wants to pay up and get a home run, like if he calls up Urban, he's like, I'll give you $12 million a year for 5 years. Urban's going to look at that. I'll give you a minority stake ownership in the team. And that fan base would lose their minds down there. And look, they've had fans a lot of this season. There's some income coming into Jacksonville that some other teams up north in Democratic locations, they don't have access to. I'm just going to keep it real. Because they've had actual fans in Florida at those games. And by the way, this isn't even part of or subject to this video. In my opinion, Tom Brady is now third in the MVP chase after yesterday. What happened to I can't throw a deep ball? Tom Brady killed it yesterday. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. I know it's a different kind of video. I know it's focusing on actual news surrounding something that might happen in the NFL. But look, I like Urban Meyer. I'm fascinated by Urban Meyer and what he could do. And the idea of him going to the NFL, it is interesting. It is interesting. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.